Hello, and this is Kingy. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm going to be doing another team on Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. This team is going to be an affinity specific team. So it's got Sandless Survivor in it. She's there for her extend buffs. She's built pretty strong, also built slow. It's a 1-to-1 team. Whirling Frost King is coming and blocking off his A2. I don't need his debuffs. He's here for his A3 with strengthen and increased defense. His A1 has Veil in it, but I don't think that's going to play any sort of part. And of course, Clan Boss is immune to freeze. Built strong, built slow. I think he is the third or fourth in the rotation. Rhea Bone Spear. She's built tough. She's the fastest in the rotation to cleanse decreased speed, which this rotation doesn't have. And she also brings block buffs for the stun. She also, with her A2, has a bunch of debuffs. Now Geomancer, he's here. He's second last in the rotation. He's got his HP burn to go along with his passive, and his HP burn will override Rhea Bone Spears. Hers is only for a 2-turn, his is for a 3-turn, plus his is placed after. Geomancer also has his A2 coming in. We will have to delay his HP burn by another turn. We'll have to manual that bit. Besides that, this team is full auto. Torogi the Frog, we're turning off his A2. He's just there to give himself a tiny bit of heal with an A1, and for the ally protection from his A3. Rio comes in. She has decreased attack, which Torogi has in his A1, so it's just double decreased attack to make sure that it stays strong. He will lose his increased defense, so his reflect damage will come into play there, but it still won't be enough to keep him alive. He will die, but his passive will bring out enough damage, so it's a 2-key Ultra Nightmare team. He's slowest in the rotation, naturally. And Geomancer's passive will just bring a bunch of damage. He'll be the biggest damage dealer. Probably somewhere between 16 and 20 mil. Alright, let's get into the run. Okay. Alright, so it's a pretty simple rotation. So Rio goes first, that's just the counter attack. Rio goes first in the thing, then Sandless Survivor, then Frost King, then Geomancer, and then Torogi. Torogi will be using his ally protection in the turn 2. I'll just turn it off auto here for a sec. It's got to make sure that Geomancer uses his A1 here, not his A3, and we're good to go back on auto. Alright, so the rotation as it is this first round, Rhea Bone Spear will just do an A1, Sandlash will do a... Oh wait, no. Rhea Bone Spear does her A2, sorry, in the first round. Sandlash does her A1. Frost King does... Whirling Frost King does his A1. Geomancer does his A3 to take over the HP burn. And Torogi does his A1. In the round 2, Rio will do her A1. Frost King will do his A3 for the increased defense and strengthen. Geomancer would do his A2 to strip the increased attack off. Torogi would do his ally protection, so that's his A3, and then Clan Boss will have their turn, and then it'll be Rio starting that round to cleanse if there's a decreased speed, heal, and place block debuffs. Then Sandlash will go. She will extend all the buffs, which will include the shield, the ally protection, the increased defense and the strengthen, and the block debuffs. And then everyone else will just run through with their A1s until the Clan Boss hits for the stun hit, and then it's just repeat, repeat, repeat. This team isn't built optimally. It could be built a lot better to survive to turn 70 or even possibly beyond. With the right champions, say like a Brogony to come in, and a Nyan Brago, this team could be a 1-key team. This team comp, the style that it is, which is a survivability 1-to-1 ratio, this sort of team can be a 100 mil team with 1 key, but this specific team is not. This team is a 2-key Ultra Nightmare team. I'm just bringing in Whirling Frost King just as a soft point. So he's not going to do too much damage. He's got 3 counterattack accessories on, but he's still not going to do too much damage, even though he's built pretty strong, because he misses out on attack with his A3. So his damage is going to be second or third, possibly, on this magic affinity. because Sandless Survivor, who has the most raw damage in this team, but she is weak affinity against magic, so she won't be doing much damage but against a force or a spirit, she would be up there in damage. I've got her built really strong for damage. Taraga the Frog, he's going to do almost next to no damage with his A1, 25k hit, as you can see there. His A3 is just protection, and that's it. So all of his damage is going to come from his passive, which is the poisons. As you can see, we got a full debuff bar thanks to his poisons. Possibly even missed out on a couple, which is not good and definitely not ideal. But all the debuffs we got on are critical, including the decreased critical rate from Rio Bone Spear, just to make sure that we have consistent runs. Geomancer would be the massive damage dealer here with his Reflect. So if you brought in a Brogni to go alongside with him, so you'd get 2 Reflex, the team would survive a lot more and also do a lot more damage. So yeah, it's a pretty cool team. So here we are coming up on almost turn 25, and we are, let's give it a minute, we'll get there. Turn 25, we're looking at about 16.7, 17 mil, around that area. So you can theoretically, not literally, theoretically double that, and that shows about a 32, 33 mil key. But this team will do more. It'll do, I think its minimum is about a 35 mil, which is what you need to do a 2 key. I'm just assuming that. I think the weakest I've ever hit is probably 36 mil, because Taraga the Frog dies at around turn 47, and then everybody else keeps going for a couple of turns and pushes the damage a bit more. And if Taraga gets good passives, good RNG on his passives, gets more damage out there. If I brought an Iron Brago instead of a Whirling Frost King, then this team would have a lot more raw damage. And I've got all the debuffs and the buffs to do that sort of damage, but I just didn't want to show off raw damage. It's too easy to show off raw damage, especially with Iron Brago. And in 50 turns, Iron Brago can do a lot of damage. On a 1-to-1 ratio, he could probably do upwards of 15 mil. With his raw damage, he just smacks that good. Every single time he's taken a turn, he's sitting over 150k. So yeah, he smacks, and that's plus War Master, Giant Slayer, Masteries. And Whirling Frost King, he's hitting somewhere between 80 and 120, maybe 130k. I've got him in 3 counterattack accessories, so that's why he does some weaker hits, around that 75 to 80k. Because you lose damage on counterattack hits by 25 or 15%. I think it's 25, or maybe it's just 20. So yeah, so he does a little bit of extra damage thanks to his counterattack accessories. And then yeah, Rio Bone Spear, she's missing out on attacks, and I have not got a built for damage. I just got a built for survivability with enough damage to heal herself from lifesteal. Taraga the Frog, he comes pretty close to death at times, but thanks to Rio's A1, her heals, his own heal, it's able to keep going. And then Sandless Survivor's passive becomes very clutch. So I would choose her over somebody like Godseeker and Neri in this specific team because of her passive. But this team, again, it's not an optimal team. It's just an option out there and gives you a good skeleton, as it were, to build from. So you can improve Frost King and improve Sandlash, possibly replace Rio. Definitely chuck in a Brogni if you got him, and it becomes a very, very solid team there. So we're coming up near the end of this run, almost. So we got 30 mil of damage. As you can see, the stun hits, even this far in, do absolutely no damage, because I've got ally protection, strengthen, and I've got the deflex and the decreased critical rate just to make sure it's all good. And they're all built with pretty high HP, as the stun hit is damage based on enemy HP. So really just shows that, you know, the stun hit would never kill this team. It'll always be Taraga the Frog dying from the clan boss because he loses his strength and his increased defense, and he doesn't have a guaranteed or consistent ally protection on himself. So there we go, he's gone down because Sandlash's passive just expired, but we're already here at a 1 key team. One more hit will be at 35. There we go. So this team will just go on for a little bit more, and whatever extra you get, it's happy days. So the next two to die would be Sandlash and Geomancer. They will both die, and then Rio and Whirling Frost King will die. Very strong team. Strong in the sense of built strong, not necessarily damage strong. Again, it's not a raw damage team, it's all passive damage. And there we go, turn 50 on the dot, 37.4 mil. Geomancer smashing him with the damage. Whirling getting a lot of damage there, more than I thought he would. I guess he got a lot of counter-attack attacks there. Taragi with 6 mil from his passives. Sandlash 4.5, which is pretty good considering her affinity matchup. Rio a lot of heals, 2.7 mil, and then of course everyone else has got the lifesteal heals. Excuse me. That's terrible. I need a drink or something. So Rio Bone Spear, she's just got the standard masteries. Her build is pretty good on lifesteal. Heaps of HP, more than she needs. A little bit of attack, a little bit of defense. Fastest in the turn order. Enough accuracy, 100% critical rate, a little bit of damage. For A2 with all the debuffs known to man. For A1 with some extra heals. For A3 big heal and cleanse. Whirling Frost King turned off his A2. Don't need the debuffs, they will take position over poison, so I don't want that. Increased critical damage, not a raw damage team, so not needed. Here's a 3 with the increased defense and the strengthen, but only for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, which is the one unfortunate. His A1 didn't really get used much, just a little bit of damage here and there. His masteries are the same. 3 counter-attack accessories, so we can get some extra hits in. Stats, all very, very average. I wanted him to be built average, not to show off or anything. So low HP, 40k, 4k defense to do a little bit of damage, 3rd in the turn order, and then just a bit of critical damage and enough critical rate cap. Then we've got Taragi the Frog, Epic Champion. Oh no, the Geomancer will do. Alright, so lifesteal, he's just built with accuracy and to survive and to go second last. That's it. A little bit of damage to heal himself, enough accuracy to do his stuff, and enough stats to survive. Simple. Oh, I didn't have his masteries finished. I guess I forgot that. I suppose I can also finish off his masteries for maybe a Hydra or something like this one, because you can't have that on a clan boss. It'll just mess the turn order up. Alright. Oops. Go away, player. I don't want that. Alright. Oh yeah, Whirling's just got basic masteries. Got another little extra one on there that's good for Bommel, if you build him for Bommel. Bit of extra resistance, never hurts against that Doomtail boss. So yeah. Alright. Here we go. Taragi the Frog. So lifesteal, same as before, same as all of them. Solid HP, could be more, then he'll survive longer. Almost 4.4k defense because he loses that increased defense, needs to be high. No critical damage pretty much, 100% critical rate, last in the turn order, solid accuracy. Perception, yeah, oh, I also didn't finish his masteries. He definitely needs retribution, that'll help him a lot. We're getting those extra attacks, so then he always comes into the rounds top of the order for full health. This here, because he's never on full health, so that'll help him get an extra heal, and this here will also help with the extra damage and the extra heal. Hello. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we've got oh yeah, and they've got his A2 turned off and his A1 just for the decrease attack. And his passive is pretty solid, laying all those poisons down. And then Sandalwood Survivor, her passive coming in with the ally protection just to keep Taregi the Frog alive a couple extra turns, and the whole team in that sense. Standard Master is do a bit of damage and survive. Then we've got, again, lifesteal, good stats, real high damage, real high defense, second in the turn order at 177. Could do higher HP, but it doesn't really matter. She's not the first to die. So her real thing there is her raw damage. But again, against that affinity, it didn't help much at all. Alright, and then we've got, who's last? Oh no, that's him. Alright, so Iron Braga would be a great replacement for Whirling Frost King, because his A2 brings the increased defense for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, and on top of that it also attacks the enemy. So he gets damage and heals. His A3 brings decreased attack, so it brings us a 3rd decreased attack to make sure that never drops off, because if that drops off, you're dead. And his passive is, nothing. His passive brings increased defense for everyone as well. I'd have to rebuild him for the team, but yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's it. So if you want to see more of these videos, just let me know in the comments, like the video, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, we'll get on it. See, so Whirling Frost King, he's only got the strengthened and increased defense for 2 turns, so that's where he loses out. So Iron Braga, perfect replacement for him. Again, much more damage, much better team. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and let me know what you think. Au revoir.